The evening dawn. Oh, the evening dawn. The evening dawn. What the hell going on? What the hell going on? The evening is gone. Up and down. The evening is gone. The evening is past. What the hell going on? What the hell is going on?
Hello, hello, hello. Check, check. Everybody. How you doing? How's everybody doing today? I'm back again. I'd like to thank anybody who tunes in. This is Apologies to Geek Gangster, and we are back for another Minorities Report. You got to give me 1 second. Okay. Grandmother had to answer the grandmother. All right. All right, everybody. All right. Today's topic, as you can see, if you're looking at the what is that? If you're looking at the title of the show, it's we're talking about the Clintons today. I don't know if anybody who is paying attention, but the Epstein files is front and center on everybody's mind right now, and they just had a deposition of the Clintons who were subpoenaed to come to Congress. Now, if you don't know when they subpoenaed the Clintons to Congress, they originally did not want to go, which some people said because there's guilt there. People like myself thought that it was because it was a ploy. It's not really to get any real information. It's basically to get dirt. Two different things. Information is to actually get justice, but dirt is just to get a political foothold and to get some kind of capital for an election, for elections coming up. When the Clintons are not involved in the DNC, they may speak for Democratic candidates and speak for the DNC, speak at the DNC. They are not part of the DNC. The same thing with the Obamas. They think the Obamas and the Clintons make all these decisions of who's going to run and who's not going to run. No more than any other delegate does. they may pull weight with their people that follow their what their endorsement is, but that outside of that, it's not like this secret cabal where they're just cutting people's legs out from under them, and like the progressives make it seem like the Democrats are just, like always trying to bring people down and take people out. Anyway, but the depositions were pretty interesting. I watched both, and it was funny to me that when the Clintons did agree to do it, they said, "Look, we want to do it public in front of everybody, so everybody can see it and see how the Republicans would act in those hearings, and to see that there's nothing to see here." Now this is what I'm saying here is going to make a lot of people mad, because there's a lot of people who believe that there is something there. People who made accusations and lies years and years on top of each other about what the Clintons have actually done with Jeffrey Epstein and what they had to do with Jeffrey Epstein. Did they know of Jeffrey Epstein? Yes. That's not a it's not a big issue. Like, everybody knows that. Like, but there's a lot of people who knew Epstein and Maxwell. But there's a lot of things that came out of that makes me think about where we're at today. One, and I did a show about this on the Daily Cope about no, it wasn't even the Daily Cope. It was on my reactions about Hassan Piker and how he just every time he talks about the Epstein files, he has to like go in on Bill Clinton, what he knows Bill Clinton did. Bill Clinton did this, Bill Clinton did that. As we see from these from the release, there's no story here. Did he know him? Yes. Did he know what he was doing? There's no proof that he knew what he was doing. And it's funny to me that when we talk about Trump and the Epstein files, everyone says, "Oh well, all the survivors, they've all said he had nothing to do with it." Yeah, so did all the other. They said the same thing about Bill Clinton, but for some reason, people hate Bill Clinton. And I said this before, and this is why I'm doing this on the Minority Report, because I took a lot of heat for being a fan of the Clintons. I've been into politics for years, since I was young, since I was very young, well before I should have been. And I followed the Clintons a lot. I specifically liked Hillary Clinton and the things she had to say and her initiatives that she tried to push forward while she was first lady and beyond that. But I caught a lot of hell for liking the Clintons from both black people, white people, Republicans, and Democrats. And I never really got it. I never understood what people saw in these two that made them look so devilish and evil. Now, what happened with Monica Lewinsky and the president was, of course, like, weird, disgusting, but for someone who doesn't believe in the sanctity of marriage, what does that matter to me that he had sex with someone else who was of age in the Oval Office? Do you not think that people have sex in their office? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. You're fine with Trump being a John and getting prostitutes, paying porn stars to have sex while he's married. All these things while he's married. He rapes, sexual assaults. Like, you're fine with all of that, but Clinton, the only thing that you have on Bill Clinton to me is him lying about the Lewinsky and I can't remember. I want to say Jessica Flowers or Jennifer Flowers or something like that. I believe that's the other name. But that's it. And as far as Hillary Clinton, I have yet to see any dirt on her at all. You know what's funny? They had the chance to ask Hillary questions in that deposition, and they asked some of the most ridiculous things. We're going to touch on some of it. I'm going to show some of the video, but they asked her some of the most ridiculous things. But no one asked about Benghazi. Not a big issue anymore. No one asked about the emails. Not an issue anymore. You went to lock her up 4 years ago. What's up with that? But this here is for my Democrats and my melanated peoples, right? This right here is about how I believe, once again, when you people did not support Hillary Clinton, you really screwed the country and screwed yourself. And I'm doing this not for the I told you so of it, but so we don't make this mistake again in the future. Now, as far as the Epstein files goes, the fact that these two had to testify and everybody was like this, so much hinged on this, and now that there was nothing found in the files and in these depositions, now everybody is trying to make up more even deeper conspiracies. Is like what the Clintons possibly did. Like, why do the Clintons have to be these evil people? I really don't get it. I don't see it. I don't understand like where people get this from, and the evidence that people try to show me is so frivolous and illogical that it's just, it doesn't make sense. But we're going to touch on the video. We're going to go to the first video of Hillary and her deposition, and just to show you the nonsense of what it is. The sad part about it is that I really believe that we should have voted her in for president. I think that was a big mistake that we didn't. But the past is the past. The past is the past. But yeah, we're going to go to that right now. Check it out, and I'll check you on the other side.
Now, after Jeffrey Epstein was convicted, did it concern you at all that you had taken a substantial amount of money from Jeffrey Epstein?
That's an inappropriate assumption. I did not take a substantial amount of money from Jeffrey Epstein. So far as I know, Jeffrey Epstein contributed to the joint committee that was supporting my Senate race.
Which was how much?
I believe I was told $20,000.
And you don't consider $20,000 substantial?
I do not consider it relevant to me because I had no recollection that I ever knew that he gave any money to the joint committee.
So you didn't talk to your donors that gave $20,000 to your campaign?
My understanding of the rules back then is that there was no coordination between the committee and the campaign. So, no, I have no recollection.
But that doesn't mean you can't speak to your donors. That doesn't prohibit, the law does not prohibit you speaking to donors.
But I didn't know he was a donor. As far as I knew, he was not a donor until I learned this in preparation for the testimony.
Did it concern you at all that Ghislaine Maxwell was heavily involved with people you knew and were close to?
I knew people that I knew her. Yes, that's true.
And you just shrugged, you didn't want to look into it or have any question about it?
Until her crimes were revealed and she was indicted and tried and convicted, I don't think people knew very much about at all what she was doing.
And then how do you know Howard Lutnick?
I know Howard Lutnick because when I was senator on 9/11, the firm he headed, Cantor Fitzgerald, suffered the greatest loss of life. As I recall, something like 650 of his employees were murdered by terrorists that day. Howard Lutnick missed being a victim because he was delayed dropping his child off to kindergarten. You asked the question. I'm going to answer your question.
Now you're going to yell
This
at
was
me?
what I spent my time doing.
I'm a survivor trying to look out for other survivors trying to
and I was taking care of the people who lost 3,000 lives
and now you're being
at World
defiant
Trade
and
Center.
indignant today.
You asked me
I have
about
met
Howard
with
Lutnick.
Epstein survivors. I'm a survivor myself. You have emails. You've denied that Jeffrey Epstein, that you tried to get Jeffrey Epstein to give money to you.
I did
but
not.
Howard Lutnick was
If
used
you
to
have an
get
email
money.
with me asking Jeffrey
I
Epstein
have
for
an
money,
email from Howard Lutnick sending it to
what's
Jeffrey
the question?
Epstein and his people to
I
raise
don't-
money for
I don't
you
know about-
for an event, an intimate event for you at his offices
Well,
at Cantor Fitzgerald. You're
look,
going to sit
if
here
you-
today
if you would
and,
let me
and,
finish.
and obfuscate and say to this committee, you didn't try to get money from Jeffrey
I
Epstein
didn't.
when
I
there was
didn't.
an intimate event in an email that Howard Lutnick emailed to Epstein's people and Epstein to get him to come to your intimate event at Cantor Fitzgerald, a very small event. And so I'm not going to put up. You want to yell at me, that's fine, but I'll yell right back.
Well,
okay? I am looking out for
it's
survivors.
very-
I'm doing
look.
the job that you would not do and refuse to do as Secretary of State. Thank you, and I yield back to
no,
Congresswoman.
I'm going to finish answering the question, which I have a right to do. I am very sympathetic to your personal situation. I have read about it. I have seen you testify or speak on the floor about it. And I very much sympathize with not only what you went through, but appreciate your effort to stand up for survivors. I was a senator representing the people who were murdered on 9/11. Nobody lost more people than Howard Lutnick. You can say whatever you want. You can call him and have him appear before the committee.
I
But
intend
I
to.
knew him as the man who lost the employees that he knew intimately, including his brother.
And he was a
So
double
I
threat between
work-
you and
Let
Jeffrey
her finish
Epstein
her
raising
answer,
money
please.
for you.
Let her finish her answer.
You know what? If you don't want to hear what emotionally affected me, that's fine. But that's why I know Howard Lutnick. I went to the memorial service every 9/11 after the formal service was
I
held.
see what you're
with
doing here,
all-
and you're
with
obfuscating
all
from
of
the
his
questions. He was the
people, the
go-between
families.
between you and Jeffrey Epstein raising money for your
Well,
campaign.
you know, Howard Lutnick.
Now, what they didn't. Now, all right. So first, that just irritates me. I don't like Nancy Mace. That was Nancy Mace from, I believe, North Carolina, Congresswoman. I don't like her. She is a very, very just disgusting, trifling woman, and very disrespectful. But so the question she's asking here is basically, this is the connection they have from the Epstein files of Hillary Clinton to Jeffrey Epstein. Howard Lutnick, one of the cabinet members of the current presidency, had a firm that lost a lot of people in the World Trade Center. He would have been there, except he was taking his kid to school or something that day. So that's the story. Now that ties into a whole nother conspiracy about what happened in with seeing the connection with him, Trump, and Israel right now. Makes me wonder about him not showing up to work that day and just missing the 9/11. But Hillary Clinton got to know him from him losing so many employees at that time, which I'm sure he got a big insurance payout for. He then got a fundraiser together for her campaign later on. And one of the people that he invited and pressed to come to that fundraiser was Jeffrey Epstein. So they're asking her about Lutnick inviting Epstein to come to her fundraiser when they're not even interviewing Lutnick about his connection to Epstein. And how he lied about his connection to Epstein multiple times. How he's been to Epstein's island. That's so bonkers crazy. It's like, and if you watch this, I'm not going to show you the whole deposition. You can watch this all online. If you watch it, you see how, we made a mistake with the last two elections, electing. Even though I don't hate what Biden did, but it was we should have had Hillary for 8 years. Look at her now, and then look at Biden and Trump now. She is sharp. She remembers everything back to 9/11. She accurately too. She still has fight. She didn't back down, and she didn't let them get her out of character. even though in this whole deposition they acted, and her Nancy Mace and Boebert specifically acted very inappropriately and did inappropriate things. And I ask you again, what has Hillary done that makes everybody hate her so much? Because she was the first one that pushed for Medicare for all, not Bernie Sanders. Bernie got on her coattail. She pushed the bill that he wrote up, and he only wrote the bill because she wasn't in Congress. She was the first lady. She also got national Medicare for all children. I really don't understand how people still hate that woman to this day. She actually made it would have made this country way better than it was. We would have been prepared. We would have been. She's also responsible for the deal with Iran when they said women couldn't negotiate with Middle Eastern countries because they don't respect women. She is mostly responsible for the Iran deal, and no one talks about that or mentions that. And that's another reason why Trump wanted to get rid of it as soon as he got in. He wanted to get, because it was tied to the Clintons and Obama. Hillary Clinton is possibly the most qualified and best candidate we had in a long time. And because of that footage I just showed you and what happened in that deposition, it just shows you she was the real deal. She has the fight. She can deal with the adversity. Everybody in politics hates Hillary Clinton, and then everybody on a consensus believes that all politicians are crooked. So if all the crooked politicians hate this one person, let's just use our brains. It's not because she's crooked like them. I fail to see how you make that connection. But anyway, we'll move on. Now, this here is Bill Clinton. I have two videos for you here. One is just a couple of segments of what they talked about in the deposition, and then another one's about a specific issue that really kind of hit me. But we'll look at that right now, and I will catch you on the other side.
One page.
Yes.
Thank you.
Who's I don't know who that is.
And this is email from Virginia Giuffre, an Epstein victim, that alleged that you walked into Vanity Fair and threatened them not to write sex trafficking articles about your good friend Jeffrey Epstein. Mr. President, is this true?
No. No. Not no. Hell no. Not close, no.
Why do you think Ms. Giuffre would make these claims?
Are you asking to have an opinion
I don't
about
know,
Ms.
but-
Giuffre's point of mind? Can we not do that? Like, ask him about the facts that he knows, as opposed to asking about the facts in other people's minds.
Mr. President, have you ever asked any other publication to shut down a story related to Mr. Epstein?
No.
Don't look up moringa. Seriously, just skip.
Now, it's funny. It's funny because this is something, the big thing that everyone is trying to say about. Now let's talk about Bill Clinton's connections in the Epstein, what they found in the Epstein files. They found a number of pictures. I don't remember the number. I want to say like maybe they said like it was hundreds, but all of the pictures are from a charity a global charity crawl, basically, where they went to all types of countries across after his presidency, mind you. Now, his biggest connection to Epstein is after the presidency. What influence did he have that would have hurt the country? I'm not saying like that. That's not even say about what he knew about Epstein or anything like that. But what influence after the presidency? What influence did he have that would hurt the country that Jeffrey Epstein would have been part of? Right? Okay. So, all right. So that's one of the connections is that he went on this trip, and the pictures are all from that trip. There's pictures that's why they have the pictures with Chris Tucker and Michael Jackson and Diana Ross, because a big leg of that trip was in Africa. Now, the agreement, if you watch the deposition, of what was said by Bill Clinton, that the agreement was that if Jeffrey let him use his plane, then he would give him he would listen to his ideas. I forgot what the topic was he said he listened to. And from there, they would, he wouldn't promise him anything, but he'd at least sit down and give him a formal, listen to his ideas on some topic. And all the pictures are from that trip. Now, what they say is that, Virginia Dufresne said that she met him before, and that another woman claimed that she was at his house, which he denied. I mean, well, it's a he say, she say. But they also are making something out of nothing. Like, there's no emails with him referring to pizza or otherwise. And there are some crude things referring to him in a sexual manner, but like, what is that saying? That doesn't say he's with any women or young women, to be specific. So it's just really reaching, and especially when, yes, he's in the files a lot. He comes up in the files a lot, picture wise, and people talk about him and reference him, and he has actually written correspondence with Epstein, but Trump has way more, and that's fine for you to bring Bill in. That's fine. I'm not mad about you bringing Bill Clinton in, because Bill Clinton said, yes, I do know him. I did know him. I knew him fairly well. I traveled with him. Hillary Clinton never did any of that. So for them to bring Hillary Clinton in it's just once again, they're playing political games to get a political foothold or a leg up when they're completely shit in the bed right now as a party. So that's that. So basically, what was in that video right there was them making him referring him to him about what was said in this quote unquote testimony. What it really wasn't testimony. It was basically she was talking to a reporter, and said that she had met him, and they're trying to get him to say what he thinks about her saying that, and it's just like, what do you want me to say, And it's just a clown show for this is what you have. And if this is what you have far more on the man in the office right now, and you have no questions for him. So either you're just doing this for a ploy, or you're just there's no possible way you're doing this because you really care. And then to refer back to what Hillary had said to Nancy Mace, her still being empathetic to Nancy Mace in that instance is just. It shows the kind of person that Democrats are as opposed to Republicans. Hillary doesn't wear her religion on her sleeve, and she's not a bleeding heart liberal, but she is like she thinks about people more than herself. Like, she actually does the work. She's sharp as hell right now, and Trump and Biden are barely hanging on. And you people said she just didn't want her. You didn't want her though, but. All right, here's the next video. And this is the other thing they have on Clinton and Epstein, which I think is the stupidest. And this conspiracy has been going on forever. This is the stupidest thing. And I believe, once again, this is the genius Nancy Mace asking these questions as well. But we're going to go to that and check it out. I'll catch you on the other side.
moving on to my next question. Submitted to the record, we have a painting that seems to be of you, Mr. President, found in one of Jeffrey Epstein's residences, wearing a, I would categorize it as a famous blue dress worn by the White House intern Monica Lewinsky. And I have this image here. This image is being passed around. If we need to go off the record while we do that, we can.
I can take
Okay.
a picture.
So
Do you have a question?
It will be
Yeah, I do.
marked as Majority Exhibit 15. Proceed.
thank you. So, Mr. President, we are looking at an image of a portrait that is looks to be you, Mr. President, in this blue dress. Can you describe this painting? And
He doesn't need to describe the painting, you just gave him a picture. What's your question?
my question is, are you familiar with this painting? Have you ever seen it in person?
I've never seen it in person.
Do you know why someone would paint this?
Are you asking him to
Objection,
speculate?
that's calls for speculation, you can ask the artist.
And if I had known Jeffrey Epstein had this painting, it would have saved me this whole day.
Did you ever introduce Epstein to Monica Lewinsky or any other young female White House
I
staffers?
did not.
Did Epstein ever request introductions to young female intern staffers of you? Did he request you to introduce them? And one regarding this exhibit 15, this portrait, to the right of this image, there appears to be a plain letterhead document that is framed in a gold frame. Are you familiar with
So he's testified that he's not seen this picture?
the painting we asked? Yes, and now I'm asking about the image next to it. So
Are
this
you
is-
asking whether or not he's familiar with what's in this small frame?
I'm the part that you have covered up.
This
I'm
part?
asking if he's familiar with this letterhead letter
There's no
that was
letterhead that we can
Is this
see.
part of the painting?
No, sir. This is next to the painting, and it's framed on the wall in the home of Jeffrey Epstein. I guess a better way to ask, other than the birthday note that was passed around here today for Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday, Mr. President, did you ever handwrite Jeffrey Epstein any other notes?
Well, I wouldn't remember, except that I've seen a picture recently of another note where I thank him for getting me away from the crowd on the airplane for a while so I could take a nap.
Yes. Okay, Mr. President, I just have two more questions for you, and then I will let you go. And again, I'm so grateful for your time here today. We also have another exhibit from the committee, and it's page 49, I believe, and the, how do you want to classify this one?
They'll give it to
It will
us.
be marked as Majority Exhibit 16.
In this is a portion of Virginia Giuffre and her testimony. And in it, she is referencing you, Mr. President, and says he, Mr. Clinton, told me long ago that everyone owes him favors. They are all in each other's pockets. She's asked, I'm sorry, maybe that wasn't you that you was referencing, Clinton. I'll start over. He told me long ago that everyone owes him favors. I believe that's referring to Mr. Epstein. They're all in each other's pockets.
Sorry, could you, what line are you starting at?
Yes, ma'am. I am starting at the first line, and I do believe I incorrectly said that she was referencing Mr. Clinton. So to correct
So
that,
she's not referencing,
Correct. She
she's
is
not
not referencing
referencing
Mr.
President
Clinton.
Clinton, she's referencing instead? Who?
I believe this is Jeffrey Epstein that she is referencing here.
Thank you, Ms. Bobo.
Thank you. And then she's asked, would you say you asked him why Bill Clinton was here? And Virginia responds on the island, where he was here, on the island. And she goes on to say,
Excuse me, can you clarify who JS is?
can we look and see who JS
This says
is?
V and then it says
Yes.
JS, so is
Yes,
this
I will get you that name.
but this is a
pull it
conversation
up right
between
here.
two people, or is this a
Yes, this
transcript
is-
of a
this is-
deposition?
This is a transcript of a deposition, yes.
Thank you so much.
It says telecon at the top, doesn't appear to be a deposition.
It says,
What do we have
Telecom.
this as?
I'm not objecting.
No, that's fine, and we could go off the record if you want, just to get this.
I don't have this.
So this is, go ahead.
We'll go off the
I think
record.
there's
Okay. Oh yeah. So all right, I made a mistake actually earlier. That end of that video was what I was talking about with them misrepresenting the test, saying it was testimony, and she was actually not. It wasn't a deposition. But anyway, the issue of the blue dress is just, it's so stupid. First, a painting. Now, people talked about this for years. It was supposed to be a picture of him in a blue dress. It was a humiliation ritual where they made him put on a blue dress and take this picture. And that turned out not to be true. And then this is a funny picture that Epstein had hung up in his house in New York. What is that? So where is the embarrassment for Clinton in this picture? Small note, why was he like so much like a child? Like, why did the lawyer have to keep pushing his hand away? Like, yo, don't pick that up. Like, don't even look at it. Like, and the behavior just seemed like it wasn't a big thing, because it isn't. Like, only weirdos are like weirded out by being depicted or wearing dresses. Like, it's such a frail masculine thing for that to be an embarrassment to you. Where's the embarrassment? How could he get blackmailed because of a painting that someone else painted of him in a dress of a woman that that ruined his political career? Not saying she did it like herself, but her being in his life ruined his political career. Anyway, semantics. Why is everyone pushing like the stupidest narratives and not seeing the real narrative of a man who is in the presidency, is covering up evidence, has said very inappropriate things about and to young girls, has sexually assaulted people, it's admitted to a man on a bus on a microphone, undercover microphone, that he in fact assaults women. Then a case came out where he was supposedly assaulted a woman just like that. She wins the case on evidence. He refuses to give up his DNA because he thinks it's going to prove him guilty, and people still are talking about the Clintons and Epstein. I want everybody to watch this deposition, because it's not to say, okay, look at the answers that the Clintons gave that make them look innocent. It's the evidence that they have against the Clintons that they're trying to use that is so stupid, especially when you know the evidence they have on the president. It's incredibly insane. And I'm going to say this. I kind of backed off this for a while. Like I said, I took a lot of heat for being a fan of Hill and Hillary Clinton. So I kind of backed off it, and I kind of was very skeptical about the things they did. The same thing with Obama and the same thing with Biden. Because I wanted to take a wide scope and view and not just look at things through rose-colored glasses. I try to look at it from a wider angle. But I'm taking back a lot of that skepticism, because from what I've seen with the Clintons, they did do very good things for very overlooked communities and oppressed communities. They made this country more equitable, and they also made the country more profitable on a whole. Yes, they gave a lot of corporate goodies to a lot of companies, but those corporations, A, were going to get it anyway, and B, it ended helping us. They did so much for unions. They did so much for if I remember, that was the last time minimum wage was raised, was when Clinton was in. Even though I think it's just despicable what they have for minimum wage in this country. But people seem to hate every single president that helped minorities and black people specifically. I really noticed that. All the presidents you hate, if you look at their records, black unemployment was at its lowest points. Equity and economic equity was at the same was at more equal points. Wages, household wages were gaps closed in those presidents' terms. And those are the people that Democrats hate, which is wild. Like, how do so many Democrats owe these people an apology, owe the Clintons an apology, because you are trying to link them to a man that they met, and I'm sorry, in the first view, that's right. Epstein ended up giving Hillary Clinton's campaign $20,000, and she is supposed to be. That means that because that means that she is part of a worldwide sex scandal. They also asked her about Pizzagate in that interview, which is ridiculous for anybody. Not only was that debunked, and the place didn't even have a basement like they claimed it did. And a man went in there crazy and with a gun to liberate these children that were not there. We need to stop pushing this stuff. And I'm glad that she in her deposition got upset and with the bullshit, because it's nonsense. It really is. It's really nonsense to even entertain the stupid stuff that these people say. And I am taking back my skepticism. You still have to prove to me that the Clintons were bad people. You want to say the crime bill? Okay, the crime bill was a fuck up. But everybody makes mistakes. I believe that what they were intending was good, because it wasn't just Republicans behind that crime bill and all the stuff that you hate out of the crime bill. If you go back to the writing and construction of that crime bill, it was a Republican bill. Secondly, it was all the stuff that you hate. The Republicans are the ones that made sure it was in there. Gingrich and Dole. If you don't know, you don't know. And saying that Hillary Clinton is racist because of what she said about super predators, I would love to watch that video with any of you and point out where she said anything about black people. You listen to that and hear something racist because you're racist. You think when people say gang members, they mean black people. Everything that you say is a dog whistle in there. She said, you make the dog whistle. I didn't hear it and think black people, because when you say gangs, I think biker gangs, mostly white and Latinos. I thought about neighborhood gangs, which is all types of races. But all you thought about was Bloods and Crips. Now, how that crime bill was carried out by the law enforcement, and how law enforcement was racist and used that to fill up the privatized prison system and all that, that's not Clinton's fault initially. That bill, if it was not conducted racistly, would have been great. But because the law enforcement and the criminal justice systems and the correctional facilities and localities, because they carried it out racially, that's why it's wrong. It was bad because it was misused, and that's any law in our country. Just like the stuff that Trump's doing right now, he's doing it mostly in the gray area in the law, and that's what happens when you are using something to harm and deceive. But I don't think the Clintons did that, and I think that people overreacted, and I think that this is the one thing they really had that was like, you can't stick with people who did the things that they accused the Clintons of doing, and like it's really sad that after all this, you don't just leave Hillary alone. You left her hung out to dry. She lost to that man. That man is now tearing your asses up for 8 years now, and he made your life miserable throughout Biden's term, and basically sabotaged Biden's term from out of office. You guys are responsible for not getting Hillary Clinton in the office. She should have won. And now you're going to have to watch the reality come out of all your watch. The best thing about the internet is now you're going to have to watch your conspiracy theories proven wrong and look stupid over all the stupid decisions you made, and realize how all of them snowballed into this shit sandwich we're in right now. But I want to thank you all for showing up. If you did, the people who listen, who stopped in, next time you're here, drop a comment, say what you think about what we're talking about. If you don't like it, if you like it, I don't care. I want to hear what you think. Like, follow, and share. I'm Apollo the G, the Philly Special, and this is the Minorities Report. Thanks for showing up. Peace.